Hi, my name is Ava.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kevin.
And welcome back to our podcast. Today we'll be talking about the book Absolutely Almost by Lisa Graff. In the book Absolutely Almost, there's a 10-year-old boy named Albie. He is not a very polite kid and gets shy really fast and easily. He likes to get what he wants. At school, Albie was not that good of a student and got a note sent home from school from his teacher. He said all school notes from school are bad. Later on, Albie had to move to a different school after his parents opened the note. His mom said, "I think a new school would be best for you." A couple weeks later, Albie found out he was getting a nanny. He was not happy after that. A while later, he got more and more used to her. Her name is Callista. After it had been a couple weeks of having her around, he was not so shy. There's a boy named Erlen. It is Albie's best friend. For 6 years, they lived in the same building, so they hung out frequently. Erlen had 3 sisters. They were all older than him. Erlen was a triplet, just like his sisters. Erlen's brothers' names are Kyram and Eric. Erlen and his family had their own television show, which caused them to not be able to hang out as much, which they got a little upset after that. After Albie, he did not want to be friends anymore with Erlen.
Albie has changed a lot during the story. Another thing that has changed about Albie in the book is his feelings and how he thinks about things. In the beginning of the story, Albie got into a lot of trouble. He had gotten into trouble so often he had to change schools just so he could have a fresh start. Albie's best friend was Erlen. Erlen was a part of a TV show with his family. Albie and Erlen started to grow apart as the story went on, and eventually Erlen had to move. When Albie had started at his new school, he started to make friends. His babysitter's name was Callista, and at first he didn't really like her, but they had grown closer as the story had progressed. Albie's life started to fall apart again. Callista got fired for letting Albie skip school. The only reason Albie wanted to skip school is because everyone that he was once friends with had all turned on his back. They were yelling at him because a kid in the class was highly allergic to eggs. For Albie's birthday, he had decided to bring in cupcakes, and everyone had started to yell at him about that. I think that from the beginning of the story to the end, that Albie's feelings have personally changed dramatically. Also, I think that Albie has learned to see the better side of things, and not everything he has is that bad. Another thing that I think Albie didn't realize that he had everything until he had nothing left at all. By this, I'm talking about Erlen and Callista. They were the people he could trust and ask for help when they were both gone. There was no one for him to rely on, and there was no one for him to go to if he ever needed help. The 2 main characters were Albie and Callista. Albie is a troubled boy who has a hard time making friends and getting along with people. He has a hard time with his parents. On the inside, he cares about everyone and what they have to say, but on the outside, he is dishonest and gets into trouble.
When our story Absolutely Almost started, we met the main character, Albie. Albie is a very nice and intelligent kid, but was pretty shy. During our story, we met Erlen, who is also nice, but the problem with their friendship is that Erlen and his family have their own TV show they have rehearsals for, which makes them have less time for Albie to hang out with them. With this in place, a couple of chapters later in the book, Albie decides not to be friends with Erlen anymore, and eventually becomes friends with Callista. And always, after a day that Albie had a spelling test, they would go to an ice cream truck and they would get their own ice cream cone. This helped Albie not focus so much possibly messing up on the spelling test and gave him something to look forward to after school. We find out the theme is to keep calm and not to discipline yourself. You don't have to be perfect at everything. You could always be almost as good as someone or something. The setting, it takes place in New York City in an apartment building. There is also a public school. Albie is trying to get from doing everything almost right to doing everything right.
Thank you for listening to our podcast about the book Absolutely Almost.